Before dawn breaks over the dry northern plains of Burkina Faso, a long line of men stands silently in the fading blue light. For years, these men woke to the echo of gunfire, they marched through dust, carried fear like a second skin, and spent their youth inside a conflict that took everything and gave nothing back. But this morning, something is different. There are no rifles, no orders, no missions. Instead, each man holds a soil tester, a field map, or a small packet of seeds. These 5,000 former fighters are not preparing for another battle, they are preparing to rebuild a nation. For the first time in Africa, a country is retraining thousands of ex-combatants into agricultural engineers, tasked with restoring more than 300,000 hectares of damaged land. This is not a political experiment, it is a necessity. Because a country that can feed itself controls its own destiny, and peace cannot survive on an empty stomach. At first glance, it looked like a basic reintegration program, but the truth became clear very quickly. This was something far bigger. These men entered an 18-month training pipeline, structured with the discipline of a military academy but designed to rebuild the land they once fought across. Their days began before sunrise. Not with roll call, but with soil analysis. They studied how war damages earth, how desertification spreads, and how to heal exhausted soil. They learned irrigation engineering, composting, topsoil restoration, and even drone-assisted farming. They trained in cooperative management because, in today's Burkina Faso, a farm is not just a workplace, it is a unit of stability. One trainee, Isser, described his first week. For years, I walked across this land without truly seeing it. Now I understand its needs, its hunger. It feels like I'm seeing my country for the first time. Within the first 90 days, crop yields in test areas jumped by 30% to 40%, not because of miracles, but because discipline replaced chaos, and structure replaced survival instinct. Villages once abandoned due to insecurity began to come alive again, shops reopened, markets returned, families felt safe enough to travel. A village elder put it simply: a man who tills the soil at dawn does not look for trouble at dusk. Foreign analysts were stunned. How could a country recovering from conflict manage what international development projects failed to do for decades? The answer was simple. These men knew the land better than anyone. They had crossed it under fire, they understood its rivers, its seasons, its scars. And now they were working with the land instead of against it. The idea spread quickly. Policy experts in Mali and Niger began asking whether thousands of unemployed youth, often pulled into conflict by necessity, could also be turned into agricultural forces for peace. Across West Africa, a phrase began trending: food is freedom. But in Washington, the reaction was complicated. Publicly, American officials applauded Burkina Faso's progress. Privately, analysts grew uneasy. For decades, African dependency on imported grain gave the U.S. economic leverage in key regions, but a self-feeding Africa disrupts that equation. A leaked U.S. policy report stated, a new African agricultural model is emerging, low-cost, self-reliant, and potentially disruptive to U.S. influence. If 5,000 men could do this, what happens when the number becomes 20,000 or 50,000? A self-sufficient Africa negotiates differently. A self-sufficient Africa cannot be steered through food dependency. A self-sufficient Africa becomes sovereign. Inside Burkina Faso, the transformation went deeper than crops. Abandoned houses were restored, wells were cleaned and reopened, local economies revived. Young people began applying to join the Green Corps. Crime decreased, trust in government increased. Slowly, the country's heartbeat steadied. One mother said, my son went to war and I feared I lost him forever. Now he wakes up early to farm. That is my peace. One trainee said, I never believed the soil could give me a future. Now I see it can give a country one too. And as the fields turned from green to gold, one truth became undeniable. Burkina Faso had done something the world was not prepared for. It proved that stability can grow from the ground up. If Mali, Niger, Chad, and Togo follow this path, the entire Sahel could transform from a region known for instability into a unified agricultural power, and that leaves Washington with a choice: adapt to a rising, self-reliant Africa, or cling to an outdated framework built on dependence. But for the people of Burkina Faso, the choice is already made. Their future is no longer written by conflict, it is written in the soil, in the seeds they plant, and in the courage of 5,000 men who traded weapons for hope, because nations do not rise through the aid they receive, they rise through the courage they cultivate. Leaders in Mali, Niger, Chad, and Togo are watching closely. They are asking, could we turn thousands of jobless youth into agricultural workers? Could farming become a tool for peace? Could we reduce dependence on foreign grain? Because if it works in Burkina Faso, it can work across the entire Sahel. This is the beginning of something bigger than one country. Now we reach one of the most important parts. Publicly, the U.S. praises Burkina Faso's program. Privately, there is concern. Why? Because a self-feeding Africa breaks a 50-year economic model. For decades, Africa had food shortages. Foreign countries provided grain. Aid created influence. Influence shaped politics. But now, if Africa grows its own food, it needs less grain from the U.S. That affects American farmers' trade routes, agricultural exports, political leverage. A leaked U.S. report admitted. A new African agricultural model is emerging, low-cost, self-reliant, and disruptive to U.S. influence. This is why Washington is nervous. A self-sufficient Africa is harder to control. The transformation isn't only about farming, it's about rebuilding a nation. Abandoned homes were repaired, wells were reopened, young people stopped migrating, local economies restarted, cooperative groups formed, trust in government increased. The psychological effect was huge. People began believing in their country again. One mother in a small village said, "My son left home years ago to fight. Today he leaves home to plant. That is the peace I prayed for." A young trainee shared, "When I put a seed in the soil, I feel like I'm planting my future." A local leader said, "War destroys in seconds. Agriculture rebuilds for generations." Come or fire, and the biggest question remains, if Africa can turn 5,000 former fighters into agricultural specialists, what happens when it becomes 50,000, or 100,000? A continent that can grow its own food is a continent that cannot be controlled, and that is the heart of this story. 5,000 men once trained for conflict are now trained for creation. They are not just changing farmland, they are changing the destiny of a nation.